Alrighty guys, welcome back to day 8 of Advented Code. Today's problem isn't looking too difficult. I don't quite know the best way to explain it, but essentially we are given a long string of digits. Each digit refers to a pixel color on a image. The image has multiple layers, and our image is 25 pixels wide by 6 pixels tall. So if you can see, here's the input, just a long string of digits. Each digit refers to a pixel color. And the question that we have to answer for this one is we need to find the layer that has the fewest 0 digits, and then on that layer we need to find the number of 1 digits multiplied by the number of 2 digits. So, given that, we need to first build up our layers. The layers again are 25 pixels wide by 6 pixels tall. I've already read our input in as a string, and we'll go from there. So, I guess let's just read it straight into an integer array for a layer, and then we'll put this in a list. So we'll call this our layers, and we'll set it equal to new array list. And okay, so we need to do for int I pixels wide, so I equals 0 while I is less than 25, I plus plus. Or I say these are actually column row, aren't they? So technically it's like this, and this is 6 pixels tall, so, or no, column row. So no, this is 25, and then this is J. 2D arrays always confuse me for a bit. There we go. So this will be the column we want, and then the row we want. Or sorry, no, it is not, it's row column. So we want the row first, which is this, and then we want the column, which is that. Okay, so let's actually just do row instead of J and I, let's do rows here, and then column. That way I can keep it straight in my head. I always forget because they're just opposite and I don't know. Anyways, so this will generate our layers. So for equals new array list. So then we need to do while let's see. We need to do this, we need to keep track of our int I while I is less than input dot length. This will allow us to go for as long as we aren't there. We will then do I plus plus in here. And what we will do is each time we will create a new integer array. This will be a specific layer, and it is 6 rows, 25 columns, and we will set layer row column equal to input dot char at. Actually, this is gonna be a char, not integer. My bad. And this is then char at I. And then when we are done here, we will go ahead and add it to layers. Layer. There we go. Okay, so this will build up our layers correctly. I guess we could compute this as an integer, but chars work too. They're not, it's fine. It's only 0, 1, or 2, so we're good there. So now we've built up all of our layers, we need to go through each layer Or could we do this in one loop? I said let's see if we can do this in one loop here without doing multiple. So we have I good. So we also need to keep track of the fewest digits. So int layer with layer our fewest zeros layer, and then int fewest zeros 0 0. Okay. So what we will do is here, while we go through, we need to check. So it's going to do char c equals input to char at. We will check to see if c equals 0. If it does, we need to do int zeros equals 0. Increment zeros. And then proceed like normal. And then what we will do after this is all done is we will check if zeros is greater than fewest zeros equals zeros, and fewest zeros layers equals layers.size. And we have to do it before we add, because index is one less than the length. So if we do it before we add, then we have the correct index. So now we have the layer with the fewest zeros. What we can do is we can now grab the layer with the fewest zeros here, and now we can do our calculation on the number of ones multiplied by the number of twos. So bring this back. We need to count, so int num ones, int num twos. I don't know why I put a space there. Okay, and then in here, what we will do is we will check if layer row column equals 1. We will increment the ones. Else, if it is a 2, we will increment number 2s. And then beyond that, we just output that and we shoot our answer. So system out print line num1s times num2s, and that should be our answer. Let's go ahead and run this. Hopefully it all works. Hopefully first time, please. Come on. Get on the first try. Nope. Answer is too high. Let's output the layer. System dot out dot print. So let's print the layer, and then after every layer we print a line empty and run that. So this is the layer with the most zeros. Okay. I don't have any way to verify that. 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25. Okay. Oh, you know what? We need to find the layer that contains the fewest zeros, not the most zeros like we're doing here. I did that backwards. So fewest zeros needs to be integer. That would probably help. Let's try this again. There we go. We had it just backwards. Alright, code works first try, or basically first try. I like it. There we go. So this is part 1. Let me go ahead and mark part 1. I don't know what part 2 is yet. So let me go ahead and read part 2, and I will get back to you guys. Okay, so for part 2, we are essentially figuring out what the message produced by the decoded images. So given all the layers, we need to determine what color pixels actually at that position. So if we have 4 layers and we're doing the top left pixel, and their example is layer 1 is a 0, layer 2 is a 1, layer 3 is a 2, and layer 4 is a 0, we need to figure out which one of those actually sets the pixel's color. In that case, it is the 0 on the first layer because that is black, 1 is white, I believe, and 2 is transparent, correct? Yes. So basically we have to find the highest layer that has a 0 or 1. The 2 is irrelevant. And yes. So now that we have all of our layers, what we can do is layer 1 takes precedence. So we will do a for loop on each of our layers. For layer and layers. No, we need to do for int I equals. Let's do it this way again. Go through each of these, and then out of the layer we can grab the current. Yeah, okay. So the current layer is gonna be layers.get 0 to start. Is layers already? Oh, can't use layer there. Alright, we'll do layer like that. So this will get the first layer, and what we will actually do is while layer row column equals 2, because that's the only time we will skip, we will set layer equal to, let's do int I 0, I equals 1, I plus plus, and get I. There we go. So keep getting a layer until we find a layer that, oh, we can't use I. Find layer index. Keep going until we find a layer that it does not equal to, and then at that case we will build up a new char decoded image equals whoops, I forgot the array stuff, equals new char array, and it is 6 by 25, 6 here, 25 there. And then after this while loop completes, we will simply set row column equal to the layers row column, and there we go. That should actually honestly be it. And actually we don't need decoded, because all we need to do is actually just simply system out it. And that should take care of it. So let me go ahead and print out a part 2. Print line it, print all those, and then do a blank print line at the very end. And that should be our decoded message. put that as our answer. And it's not right. What is it? Oh, it's probably asking for it with the print lines, isn't it? It's probably the issue. Maybe. It would help if their answer box wasn't just a single line. I think it's asking for it in the appearance like this, but I'm not positive. Okay, so the answer was not right. I'm trying to think here why. Okay, so I'm back. So I think actually we are correct. I was talking with someone to figure out what was going on, and it seems like it's not what I was thinking. Because the whole time it's talking about decoding an image, which is why we're doing pixel stuff. I didn't think of it to actually look at what the image renders out. So rows 6, columns 25, you put the input back in here. So if we go ahead and run this, we get our output here, which is hard to see. But I think if we change it here, so if we do if layer equals 1, output a 1, else output nothing, like a string of blank space, it might be easier to see. Let's try that. You can see it a bit. Okay, that's why we couldn't see it. Well, hold on. Let me get a Unicode block. Let me get a Unicode block character. Get the full block. I think we can try this, right? Okay. If I do that, we should be able to see it a lot better. There we go. Okay. That's what we wanted. So it's RUZBP. Submit it. There's our answer. Okay. We got it. We're good this time. So yeah, so that one was, it was not a hard, today was not a hard problem. The only issue was that the last bit confused me. I guess I should have put it in my head that we would be looking into the image and not what it outputs. I guess I should have thought about that. But anyways, to summarize what we did, we read in our inputs, we loaded that input into layers of our row, which is 6 by 25. And from there, while we're also loading in, we're calculating the layer that has the least amount of zeros. Once that's all been loaded in, we've calculated the layer with the least amount of zeros. We go ahead and calculate the number 1s and 2s in that layer. And for part 1, we then output that amount of the number 1s times the number of 2s. And then for part 2, we simply go through each pixel. So the top left, and then one to the right, then one to the right. We go through each pixel, and then for each pixel, we go through the layers until we hit the first layer that isn't a 2. And we also output it in a little bit of a formatted way. And then we're done. That is it. So again, today's problem was not too difficult at all. It's actually, I don't know, again, I wish it was a little more clear that we're supposed to be looking at the image in the end, but at the same time, I guess I should have thought about that too, because we were dealing with images, there are pixels for an image the whole time. So either way, thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys all tomorrow for day 9. Peace out.